cooking up the duck, so he's in the middle of some prep. So I'm actually going to take you to the duck cam and or the cook cam, and I'll show you what's cooking.
Got a little smoke going on in here.
I know. So hopefully, so there is the duck. So tonight we are going to be cooking and preparing cocktails with cherries. And I love cherries, and cherries are actually an aphrodisiac. So I thought it'd be great to cook up some stuff with cherries for Valentine's Day. And so Mike, you want to just talk a little bit about what you're doing, or?
Let's see. What I've got is 2 Dutch breasts, and I just flipped them here. So I don't know if you can tell, but you always score the duck and to help render out the fat after you
have to talk loud in the fan. So.
Yeah, I can cut this off, I think.
Yeah.
So the recipe for this duck is on our website, friescornerbar.com. The cherry and pork sauce is not, and I'll try to get that posted today or tomorrow, actually. I had to rebuild the software on my computer this morning, and that's not something I'm good at. So after 3 hours of doing it, the last thing I want to do is sit there and try to put in all the recipe stuff. But I will get to that tomorrow once I find all my Word documents and all my photographs and all the other stuff I can't seem to locate. So
it hasn't been a good day for Mr. Fry, I should say that.
I got a lot done, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. So what I'm going to do is make this cherry sauce, and I'll walk that through when it's ready. Shannon's going to go right into the cocktails, and I'll talk about a new product that I wanted to mention that we got that I'm anxious that I've actually tried it, and it's super good. So I just want to make sure that they get the acknowledgement. So,
okay,
all right,
great.
bye.
Well, I am going to go ahead and start on the cocktail. I'll try to talk loud. That sizzling duck is all around me. So I bought a new liquor for me. It's called Cherry Hearing liqueur. It is actually a Danish liqueur. So I'm actually going to put this down right here and show you on the close-up cam. You can maybe see it a little bit better than if I put it up to the camera. So it's Hearing, H-E-E-R-I-N-G. It is made in Copenhagen, Denmark. And it's made in Copenhagen, Denmark, and I wanted to compare this to our other favorite, which is what we always had, the Luxardo. And they really cannot be substituted for one another. And I'll just go over a little bit as to why. So you can see here, I poured with my fingers, I poured the Luxardo. It is crystal clear. You can see right through it. And now I'm going to pour the Cherry Hearing. And you'll see this has a nice, deep red color. So much different, first off, much different color profile. And when you taste them, this one, the Hearing smells much more like cherry. And it also has a really deep cherry flavor. Whereas the Luxardo actually has a back note of cherry, also a little bit of rose. This has more alcohol, more of a liquor taste, where this is more sweet and more like a traditional liqueur. So if you don't have Cherry Hearing, I recommend you may want to try it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make our favorite cocktail first, which I tried this when I was looking up recipes to make with Cherry Hearing. I came across the cherry thistle. So I'm just going to show that recipe. So the cherry thistle is actually made with scotch. Now, We are not Scotch drinkers. It was actually we have a Scotch that we've gotten for a gift, but it's a really good Scotch. It's not a Scotch that you want to be mixing cocktails with. So I did a little bit of research as to some of the better cocktails to buy to mix with, and this one happened to be on sale. It's Dewar's age 12. I was at 12 years. I was actually leery about this cocktail, but I thought, okay, I'm going to try it. This cocktail is unbelievably delicious. It has a nice smoky back note to it, and with the cherry, it's really good. So I'm going to start with that. And the main reason I'm going to start with that is the second cocktail, we actually muddle raspberries, and when I do that, the raspberries get all stuck in my Hawthorne strainer, so I don't want to have to worry about cleaning that out in between cocktails. So what we are going to do is we're going to start with 1.5 ounces of Scotch, and this one I'm actually going to make a double batch because I don't want Mike and I to have to fight over this cocktail. So that would be 3 ounces of the Scotch. There was also another Scotch that everybody was recommending for making with these cocktails, and that was, I think it's called Monkey Shoulder. But this was on sale, so I went for the cheaper of the two. Then it's 2 ounces of fresh squeezed lime juice. So this is actually this is like a whiskey sour. So it's a traditional whiskey sour with the egg whites and the lemon juice is kind of the and then we're going to do 3/4 ounce of the herring. So I'm going to do 1.5 ounces. This one calls for simple syrup, which again is 1 part water, 1 part sugar, and this is 1/4 ounce, so I'm going to make this 1/2 ounce. Oh, thank goodness all that sizzling.
Oh, we're just getting started. Man, it's smoky in here.
I know, but please don't turn the fan on. I'd rather like make it a little, get the fog out of my face than have to yell over that fan. And then 1 egg white, so I have 2 egg whites in here. And as always, when you add egg white to a cocktail, it's actually any like egg white or dairy. You want to give it a dry shake first. This is going to froth up that egg, and that's the egg whites are actually explosive, as Mike demonstrated, and I didn't put it on tight enough.
That was planned.
So now I have a cocktail on my red shirt, and this is really a drink that when you do 2 in a shaker, it's almost too much because of the expansion. So now I have plenty of froth going in there. Now I'm going to add the ice and give it the wet shake. And let's do a little bit out of that time. I just was worried about getting the seal. Okay. So now this is nice and frothy. So I have my 2 chilled coupe glasses, and we are going to double strain this into the coupe glass. Kiss the glasses so I can get an even pour. Mike hates it when
I get more.
Yeah, that's who always gets more, Mikey.
I'm older.
And so you just see it has a nice froth to it. Get some more of that in there. So I have everything on there. I do. And now this cocktail is garnished with just a cherry. So I'm gonna put the cherry on top. And here you go. These are the cherry thistles. And that is a cocktail that I highly recommend. Oh my gosh, they look like little boobies. In honor of Valentine's Day.
I like big boobies, but anyway, so. Can we just switch over to this camera real quick?
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna get this going?
Absolutely.
All right, so what I'm gonna do.
Wait a minute.
Oh, sorry.
Just me a minute here.
So the first thing I'm gonna do is I left about 2 tablespoons of my duck fat in here. And I actually save the duck fat all the time. I filter it out into a coffee cup, and then I pour it into a jar because duck fat is just extremely rich. It's awesome to cook with. It imparts so many different flavors. So I have about a 1/4 cup of shallot, and I'm just gonna cook this real fast for about 30 seconds. Because one, these cook very quick, and they're very tender and mild. So okay, so I'm just going to cook this for about 30 seconds. Spin this around. Just let them soften up. Release some of the aroma. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to try to get a little of that brown stuff off of the pan. That's where all of the really good duck flavor is at. Now I have here 10 frozen cherries. Recipe called for 8, but I like cherries, so I'm gonna throw those in there. Give those a quick spin around. Then I'm gonna throw in a 1/4 cup of chicken broth, unsalted. And that's gonna help deglaze that pan even more. As you can see, getting all that good stuff off of there. Stir that around. Two tablespoons of tawny port. I am using Ramos Pintos. This is our favorite port. We've tried the 10-year, the 20-year, and the 30, and we thought the 20 was the best. And now I'm going to add about a tablespoon of honey. This is neighborhood honey from down off of Poly Road. So I'm going to bring this to a fast boil, and I'm going to let this reduce down. And this is going to take about 2 or 3 minutes.
While he's letting that reduce, I just want to show a few of the comments that we got. So first was, hi Mark, happy Valentine's Day, good to see you, thanks for joining. JMRead says, love the multiple cameras. I know that was this week's practice, was trying to get, mainly it was trying to get that, my iPhone to work so that we could get the cook cam going. Mike Overschmidt says, for a truly outstanding scotch, try, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce that right, I'll try it. Lagavulin 16, but don't waste it mixing. It's like drinking a leather jacket, so good. Well, we will have to try that because just as I didn't think I was a gin drinker until this year, I also didn't think I was a scotch drinker, but clearly I wasn't drinking the right stuff. So Kevin Show asked to see the boobies again, so I did show those. I put those up on the counter.
I thought this was a family show. Kevin.
Dory said that looks divine. It is. It's an excellent drink. Kevin says, nice boobies. Then Paul says, watching and getting hungry. I know. I will say this duck. I love it when Mike makes duck. It is really good.
We do. We make it a lot. You know, you can find it typically at Roach Brothers. Stop and Shop will carry it, but it's hit and miss. And then other than that, I don't know. Okay, so the last thing I have is 1 tablespoon of cold butter. And that I have to whisk in versus stir. And I don't know why I have to whisk it versus stir, but that's what it said. So you can see my sauce is starting to thicken up here. And it just isn't good, and then people get turned off from it. People also comment the duck is really fatty. It's not fatty, because what you do is, it is fatty, but what you do as you're cooking it, you tilt the pan and you ladle out that fat. And then if you notice, I had a cast iron pan on top of that, and what that does is it doesn't squeeze out any of the juice, but it helps to render that fat evenly so that you don't get any high spots with the duck. So, thing I want to talk about is Duxbury Salt Works. I got this Thursday. Last week we mentioned we had ordered some fish from Local Provisions, and you can email Ryan at localprovisions.eco, I believe it is, for fish. And sorry, I'm a little out of breath.
I know, you want me to go finish my cocktail and
No,
we can talk about this stuff?
No, so I wanted to finish it up and
have
I
a
have to
sip
get back
of
over.
this. Okay.
Yep, let's cheers and then I'll finish out. Cheers.
Cheers,
to
happy
Libby.
Valentine's.
Love you. Mm-mm-mm.
Delicious.
That's so good.
Okay.
This is salt that is from Duxbury Bay. What they do is, I don't know, they go out and harvest water, dehydrate it, and then they get the salt out of it. And I like it a lot. It's got a great flavor, and there's a huge difference in salts.
Mike Pellrine said we lost audio. Okay.
Can you hear us now, Mike?
I hope. It looks like the volume's going, but I don't know. I'm gonna hide this camera
Okay.
and then just.
So I'll just continue on. Anyway, this is a female-owned company. They're out of Duxbury. I don't know if you can order it online or not, but a lot of people have commented to me that they love this salt and they use it for margaritas. I liked it yesterday. I used it last night. Back to Local Provisions. We ordered halibut, a pound of halibut from Atlantic halibut, and a pound of Atlantic salmon, and the salmon was extremely good. I cannot tell you how good that salmon was. And it was skin on, which I like, and I just pan-seared that. I cut it into 3 fillets, and then I just pan-seared it, and then I just flipped it just very gently, and I normally don't, but it was just such a nice cut, and we were very pleased with it. So try to support your local fishermen. Localprovisions.eco. Duxbury Salt Works, very impressed with their salt. I used it last night as a finishing salt, and tonight I'm using it as actually a cooking salt. So, and with that said, I'm gonna take another drink of my cocktail and go over and check my titles.
Okay, so what happened with the audio was when I just had the cooking cam on, the audio wasn't coming through. So that was the issue. Thank you, Dory, for pointing that out. Now I will make sure I have to figure out how to do that. I had to have that camera muted because it's actually on like it's a guest camera. So so I can't show it just by itself. It must be blocking out the audio. So I appreciate all of that. And let's see. So Mike Overschmidt and Carolyn Flathers have both helped with the pronunciation that I botched. So the pronunciation of the Scotch is Lagavulin. I have it up there, Lagavulin. Hopefully that is, I'm saying that right. And a couple more people talking about the audio. Carol Jordan wants us to deliver the leftovers. Just on the, they're our neighbors right next door, and they actually do get a lot of our leftovers. So I shouldn't say leftovers, over portions. And okay, so we got it good now, and it's back on. Okay, so thank you everybody. I hope you didn't miss too much. I'm sure it was Mike talking, so.
Was there another cocktail you were making?
There was another cocktail that I was gonna make.
Well, go ahead and do it, because
Okay.
I'm almost ready to serve up over here, so they can see the final product, so.
Okay, so I will, so this next cocktail, because I didn't know if some people like myself would have been afraid to use Scotch. So the next cocktail is it's called a Cherry Berry Cherub. So what this cocktail is you start with 7 raspberries, and we're gonna muddle those raspberries right into the tin. Now, you wanna make sure that the raspberries aren't too tart. The first batch of raspberries I had were really tart, and I had to add extra sugar to the drink. So depending on how tart your raspberries are, you may need to adjust the recipe a little bit. Then we're going to use 2 ounces of vodka. So this is almost on the lines of a cosmopolitan. And then 3/4 ounce of Cointreau or triple sec, any kind of your favorite orange liqueur. Half an ounce of lemon juice, and then a half an ounce of the cherry hearing. And actually, I might have enough left in here to use that. Nope, not quite. Not that it's going to matter for the demonstration. Okay, and then we add ice and give it a shake. Boy, you are one noisy.
I'm just starving for attention, baby.
Now we're gonna get this nice shake.
What?
Yeah. Okay. And then we are going to strain this into a coupe glass. And as I said before, because we muddled the raspberries, actually the raspberries were, we didn't have Chambord, and Betsy Pellrine recommended that we do a Chambord cocktail. So I thought, okay, next best thing is actually using real raspberries. So because there's so many seeds in here, you really kind of have to shake around and get the cocktail out of there. And then this one gets garnished with 3 raspberries. So that is the Cherry Berry Cherub. And since I only made one of those, I'm going to give this a taste. Yes, that is, you can really taste the fruit coming through. It is a little, it's on the tart side. So what I recommend is if you don't like it so tart, you maybe add a little simple syrup to it, or just maybe a little more Cointreau to kind of alleviate that tartness. So that is the cherry berry cherub. Okay, so do we have any more questions? Mike, you got anything else to say over there?
Yes, I do. I got tons of stuff to say.
You always have
So
stuff to say.
Sit down and get ready.
So, I also wanted to, he's serving up that food, which we'll show you in a minute, but I also got my favorite. This is my all-time favorite. Actually, it used to be my grandfather's favorite too. These are chocolate-covered cherries, and these actually came from Hilliard's. They're the only place locally that dips them with the long stems in. You know, you can find the cherry actually, Fidel's didn't have any of the cherry cordials, but these chocolate cherries are delicious, and they go really well with the smokiness of the cherry thistle sour. Okay, so I'm going to show you this food, which of course Mike.
I'm not the best at plating.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not the most lovely plating job.
That was a little rough. I felt pressure.
Well, yeah, you could have put everything on top of the mashed potatoes.
Yes, I should have.
So that is, we're gonna have to do a plating run through before the show.
Yes, okay.
So that is, whoops, sorry, I'm showing too many things here in the stream. So that is all we had for tonight, right? Do we have anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, that's about it.
So next week, so we were torn because not only was it Thanksgiving, not only was it Valentine's weekend, it is also technically Mardi Gras weekend. And so I was torn, and I figured, well, we'll have to do Valentine's this week, and then next week we're going to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. So we have some special stuff to talk about next week when we go to New Orleans.
Do we need beads for the boobs, Kevin?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Beads and boobs. So that's all. So thank you for joining us. And let's see. Kevin Shoy said a fun time. Mike says Betsy is reaching out the screen to try and accept the cocktail. I know. I always wanted to be able to, I just wish I could hand it through the screens. And Ken Puls says it looks good. So, as always, we appreciate the comments during the show. It makes it feel, it's much more interactive. It makes it feel like we're not just talking to ourselves. We appreciate that. We appreciate everybody watching live. And, if you
like, comment, and share.
Yeah. So,
all right.
good
Have
night.
a great weekend,
Happy
everybody.
Valentine's
Stay
Day.
warm.
Bye-bye.
Bye.